Listen up, fellas. Do you ever find yourself skipping meals or ordering takeout when life gets busy? We all know this can be a hard habit to break. Look, that's where Control comes in. They're a brand owned and operated by gamers and content creators who decided to make healthier food options for people who struggle in the kitchen. If you're looking to eat healthier meals and lose weight, their meal replacement shakes are the best option. With 23 grams of protein, vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and MCTs, they will fill you up for hours and they taste amazing. If you're looking for a high protein snack, they also got protein cookies. And they got protein meal bars, which is hard to say with my mouth full, but guys, this is truly delicious. I got a son right over here. He didn't know anything about healthy cookies. These are the ones that he turns to all the time. I'm not joking about that. They've only got 250 calories. With 15 grams of protein, 4 grams of collagen, our cookies are the perfect blend of health and taste. Their meal bars also pack in 15 grams of protein, and they got a ton of fiber. Controllers really help me to stay on track with my nutrition. If you want to make a healthier change, use the promo code Chael to get 10% off your first order, or just click on the link below. Masvidal says he dropped $100 grand. $100,000. The BMF fight he bet on Poirier, of course. And I don't want to just take for granted that those guys are teammates. Very close friends, very close training partners. So he had to put the belt, right? Masvidal, I'm talking about. He had to put the belt on Gaethje. His very good friend is lying unconscious. Not a knockout like you're used to. Like, we throw that term out, knockout. I doubt, no matter how big of a fight fan you are, that you've seen 10 knockouts in your whole life. I doubt that. Probably saw 4 on Saturday. Called knockouts. I'm talking about where a guy is unconscious, knocked out. I put the belt on him, and he knows he lost $100 grand. And he didn't wrap the belt around Gaethje, he draped it. Now, I hope to hell that story's not true. I really do. Masvidal, man, he's a smart guy. That would surprise you. Masvidal's a very intelligent guy. He enjoys reading, he enjoys history, just by example. But I just don't think he would do that. And don't forget, there was no chalk on that fight. That was dead even. Dead even money. Now, that changes, right? I get that dances around. The co-main event did too. Co-main event, the morning prior to the fight, so that would be Friday, after weigh-ins, but prior to the fight, they were both minus 110. That's rare. That's rare that you don't have chalk in one direction. So, I don't want it to be true. I don't want Masvidal to have bet that money, but when I saw the picture, and I saw the fact that he put it over his shoulder and got out of there, as opposed to putting it around his waist, I do believe he was bothered about something. And the BMF for me, tell you what happens sometimes, guys, is I know all the rules, right? Now, I, at 24 years old, started a mixed martial arts company. We've held over 130 events. It's the same company that during COVID transitioned from MMA and put on Submission Underground, just by reference. And the state of Oregon, where we held these events, took me, 24 years old, to court 7 times. 7 times. A broke 24-year-old has to take on an endless machine known as the state, and I beat them all 7 times. And I beat them because I knew the rules, and they didn't. That was it. There was nothing else. I find that to be interesting, and I find the rules to be interesting. I brought you guys so many pieces when Charles Oliveira was stripped of the championship, because the state that hosted it didn't strip him. And I thought you'd think it was fascinating. I finally had a judge, a licensed judge, but somebody very involved in the sport, call me up and say, you've got to stop. Why do I have to stop? Hey, they don't have this right. Hey, Charles laid down and took this. He could resist. a championship legacy, participation on the pay-per-view. There's a lot riding on this. He said, nobody cares. That's what he told me. He said, nobody cares. So you got to be kidding me. You don't think that's fascinating? The organization stepped in and took his belt. The state that sanctioned it did not and doesn't have a mechanism to do so. You don't think that's interesting? No, I don't think it's interesting. You got to stop. And I only bring it to you because I do think those rules, I do think that's interesting. And I have a hard time stopping. I thought, and if you would have listened to me, that the BMF is a title. Title, make sure you guys understand this. We're not just having fun with words. Title is a legal term that is identified and specified within a boilerplate contract at the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So when I say I think it's a title, I'm not just throwing things out. I'm saying something to you very specific. I told you guys this. I wish there was a lineage. I love it. I wish they bring the super fight back. I love that they do the interim championship. BMF, I mean, this just made my day. This is so wonderful. Opportunity. And the day before, we find out from the commission in Utah that it's not a title. That it's just a belt. Bring it, don't bring it. Say the guy won it like you promised, don't do it at all. We're not going to touch it. That's fully up to you. Hand him a medal, hand him a ring, hand him a bonus. I mean, whatever you do, that has nothing to do with us. This is not a title fight. And I do think that's a big deal, right? Because I don't want to speak wrong. Not to mention, I think there's many ways to build the drama better in this situation, right? I mean, if we want to have fun, I'm not like being a wet blanket here. I didn't make the rule. Utah is the one that disclosed it. Utah let us know this is not a title. This has no lineage. This will not go in the record books. This is a trophy that we're told is going to go to the winner. And if you choose to not do that, we won't enforce it because we're not involved in this anyway. I'm telling you what they said. I thought that was headlines. I thought this was breaking to Sports Center. I thought this was huge stuff. I tried to get a camera, get to my YouTube page. Was having camera problems to the point that I went to Oscar with Mac Life and said, man, you got to help me out. I got to have this. Chill, what do you have to have? I got the scoop. This is not a title fight. The commission just said, they just ruled. When Justin Gaethje got on the scale at 156 pounds, which is not legal for a title fight, they just told the world it's not a title fight. It's a really big deal. How do you defend it? Should you defend it? Where's the lineage? Big things, right? I'm well aware that in the sport of MMA, which is still blossoming, we are going to fiercely adhere to whatever rules we make up on the spot. I'm fully aware of that. But it does provide for some opportunity, right? Like, I'm not being a wet blanket by telling you this. It doesn't take away from what happened in the least. I could create one hell of a storyline. We just don't generally see it in MMA. We have seen it in this sport before. Let me give you an example. Ric Flair lost matches to Dusty Rhodes clean. 1, 2, 3. He would lose clean matches to Dusty Rhodes, but he would remain world champion because they were non-title matches. He would do that for the whole world to see on TV. Then when they had the pay-per-view, the whole world would come in and buy it because they know Dusty can beat him. And this one is for the title. Very simple stuff. But we're doing a level of that here, right? Within this sport, whatever you have is on the line at all times, discussed or undiscussed. If you have never lost, that's on the line, whether it's discussed or not. If you were the world champion, that's on the line, whether it's discussed or not. Whatever popularity and fans, whatever shine you've got, your walkout music, and whether you're in the red or blue corner, everything's on the line every time. But we saw George Masvidal, the BMF champion, fight 2 times and not put the belt up. As a matter of fact, I had that wrong, didn't I, guys? 3 times. And that's before his final fight.